Okay, so this video is going to be about peptides, and that actually means a lot. But then specifically, we're going to talk about things that patients use to help heal injuries and for other factors as well. So the word peptides actually just has to do with the protein structure. So it's very complicated. It means tons of things. Literally hundreds of drugs are peptides, but certain ones are very good at certain things. So specifically, I'd like to talk about two. Those are used in the healthcare space and specifically in the athletic recovery and performance space very often and have been for years. The first one is BPC-157 and the other one is TB-500. Now, so BPC, let's talk about that one first. So that actually stands for Body Protection Compound. BPC is actually something that is made by our stomachs. So how that works is every time you eat, like let's say you eat a salad, right? Salads are awesome for you. But salads do go through the intestines and create little micro tears. So being the genius that our body that is, it sends out this molecule every time we eat to go through and heal those little micro tears in our intestines so that we don't start to have trouble with them. So somebody then smart took that idea and said, hey, why don't we potentiate this and make it something for recovery? So it has this incredible capacity. There's a ton of literature about it. It's been researched pretty heavily, actually, and in humans, which is important, not just in mouse models, rat models, rabbit models, because you will see that a lot of times in the research peptides world, where there's no direct application to humans, there's just hypothesis and theory. So from a soft tissue recovery perspective, BPC-157 is incredible. It's awesome at helping, like let's say that you've got a ligament tear, a tendon injury, tendon tear, muscle injury, and also just to help with muscle repair. So every time we go to work out, right, there's adaptation that occurs. There's very micro tears that occur in our muscles, which helps to create that adaptation response that helps to grow muscles, hypertrophy, and also to help with strength recovery and gains. So BPC is wonderful in that capacity too. It does have some immune modulation, so patients have used that. There's been some research into the immune modulating factors, but actually that's the segue to the next one. So TB-500 is actually a small component of a much larger molecule called thymosin alpha-1. That has been used and researched pretty heavily in the immunity space. What they did with TB-500 is to take that very functional part of the larger thymosin alpha-1 and take something that is very good for A, immune response, but B, to help potentiate that soft tissue recovery as well. Those two marry together very well. So BPC-157 and TB-500 go great together. They mix well. There's no contraindications to the two being together. And the combination of appropriate tissue recovery, healing, and also modulation of the immune response is exactly what you need whenever you're looking to heal something. So simple example would be this. The body already does this, but it's a visible example. So you cut yourself. What happens to that cut? Obviously you bleed, but even once that stops and the bleeding has stopped, the body wants to address that. And what it will do is actually brings all of these immune modulating factors to that skin, and you'll see a little bit of redness, a little bit of swelling there. That's very normal. That's part of the healing process. The same thing occurs inside our body. Every time we work out, right, there's the pump that happens. There's that little bit of inflammatory response that happens. And then obviously if there's an injury to a ligament tendon, acutely there's that problem, but the body also can use that same toolbox to heal an injury even later. So let's say you've got somebody who's got a chronic tendon tear. You've got tendinosis, this word osis meaning long standing. You get that body to react to those substances and to that problem so that the body can understand, okay, we've got an issue here. These are the tools that we have. Let's go after this problem and heal it so it can finally get better. So really, again, from a recovery, performance, injury healing perspective, those two things are wonderful facets to that. We've had patients that they were using it for, the consequence was to try to treat a soft tissue injury. That did well. They started to notice that they were getting good muscle hypertrophy response. The nice part is you can use it really systemically. So there's been some literature that shows that doing site-specific injections of those components can be beneficial, but it's also not a requirement. You can just allow systemic absorption, let it go do its job wherever it needs to be. So again, I can't recommend any higher, those two things, and it can be used in all stages. That's the nice part. There are limitations of things like PRP, stem cells, in their ability to help certain patients. There's really not a point at which these can't help a patient. There's no known contraindications. Again, the literature, if you look up BPC, it's kind of comical in what literature says it can help. You basically just look at it and say, well, it helps everything. I'll just take it for whatever. And there's not a good database to say that that's not true, at least at this point, to point out specific limitations to it. So again, it's really nice for those that say, yeah, I'm not a candidate for PRP anymore. Stem cells probably won't work. What do you use? That would be a great adjunct to use.